if you want to achieve a status in your career, then there is some kind of compromise you'll have to do. What worked was my vision about myself, but that no job is a small job. I will do my job right. Doesn't matter whether it's wiping the legs of the kids or giving bath to an elderly woman. You know that I don't want to do the same mistake, which is generational, to the kids I have. As women, we are super happy to invest on our designer footwear, dresses, your chain, keep it as an asset. But you're never investing in the most important asset, which is you. So the best learning I had is that there was nobody to teach me. If someone would have told me कि घर पे काम वाली का काम करो, I would have done that. But nobody holded my hand and said, hey, listen, you're smart, you're beautiful, you're brainy. Why don't you use your intelligence to go and work somewhere else? Everything I had to do. What can better of anything if you invest on yourself and look a little more sharper and better? So experience speaks. So use your experience not to sell your brand, but to make other person invest in your brand. That gives you a larger volume. Don't wait for the opportunity to come to you. Please go walk for the opportunity and grab it.
My guest today started out as a preschool assistant and later went on to serve as a caregiver to an elderly woman. Becoming a mother before she turned 20 and only to come out of a turbulent marriage later, she took a steadfast resolve to evolve herself as a professional. In the last 13 years of being with the brand Inox, now PVR, my guest today on CXO Talks, Meena Chabbria, has led some stellar brand partnerships and alliances for the brand PVR. Meena shares her unstoppable journey and how being an avid learner has helped her grow and rise the ladder. Something she said was a jaw-drop moment for me. The fact that 90% of the men that she hires in her team don't like reporting to her. And this ignited in her the passion to cultivate leadership skills and empower 100,000 young, ambitious and aspiring women to become global leaders in their respective fields. What stayed with me was Meena's emphasis on emotional intelligence. Now, let's hear what this CXO talks.
A very warm welcome, Meena. I feel so empowered to just feel your presence right now as you sit here right across me, looking so beautiful, so elegant.
Thank you so much.
And to have you here on CXO Talks, especially with this fabulous book that you've very recently penned, Unstoppable, which I see has been signed by the superstar Rajnikant. I think that is something that tells me that must have been quite a journey for you.
Yeah, it is. And thank you for having me here, Sonia. I'm super happy to be here.
Thank you so much. It's a complete honor and I feel glad that you're here. I know that for somebody like you who started out really early and starting out as an assistant, preschool assistant, to moving on to giving elderly care, to getting married super early and having your child at just before 20, and now heading brand alliances for PVR down south. This is quite a journey.
Yep.
What made you go through this journey and create this path of growth for yourself?
It's a very interesting mix, when you're innocent, when you're young, when you don't know, you don't have a driving force, you walk all the paths. It's like whatever you get on the table, you take it and you eat it, whether you like it or you don't like it, but it's a service that you offer for yourself. And I was super happy that I was able to, be a preschool assistant, wipe the legs of the kids. Because for me, that time, that was the biggest job I could ever do and I could feel that satisfaction with me. Then from going there to the helping the elderly care woman or, the various journeys which I've had in the career, what worked was my vision about myself, but that no job is a small job. I will do my job right. Doesn't matter whether it's wiping the legs of the kids or giving bath to an elderly woman. I was paid and I wanted to do justice to my job. And that I think truly universe sees a sign that whenever someone is putting everything she or he has in the job or in her life and career, it just gives me happiness that I could grow so much from then to now.
Yeah, I think universe does reward you for every effort that you put in.
Yeah.
And it has beautifully rewarded you.
Yeah.
So, your resilience that you built in this process, and knowing that you've also had a tough marriage, what helped you build this resilience?
The vision of two young humans which I delivered, knowingly or unknowingly, I wanted to be like saying it to myself that, you did this. Now better keep up to that, or at least don't give them the life which you saw. When I saw my daughter, the most prettiest girl I've seen in the entire life, because every mother feels that your child is the most beautiful thing. And when I imagined that if she has to get married at 17 and have a baby in 18 and then have one more kid at 20, my body was shaking. That I don't want to do the same mistake, which is generational, to the kids I have. And that's something kept me going with the resilience, saying, let me put the best game out for my kids. And truly, that has been the only motivation I have to see that my production company, which is two of my children, to have the best of their lives. And I'm glad because she's 23 and she's a pilot, and you see yourself in my daughter. Like I see myself in her, and I see so much of my strength coming to her. So I'm very happy about it.
That's beautiful. And I think a lot of women in the workforce, especially mothers, they do, and knowing that this was the same for my mother as well, that she kept going even in tough times, looking at how they want to really ensure that kids have the best life and grow up to be the way they want them to grow up. So that does build resilience. I can definitely create that parallel with my mom's journey too, and so with many other women. In this process, if I was to ask you कि जितना भी personal turmoil था, and even when you penned this book and you recollected and relived all those moments, what have been some things that came across as learnings in this process of living this life and becoming unstoppable the way you have?
Okay. So the best learning I had is that, there was nobody to teach me. If someone would have told me कि घर पे काम वाली का काम करो, I would have done that. But nobody holded my hand and said, hey, listen, you're smart, you're beautiful, you're brainy. Why don't you use your intelligence to go and work somewhere else, prove that you're a better resource? Everything I had to do. So I learned that, at early ages itself, I should have had some mentor or someone to guide me, tell me where I was going wrong, and explain it to me why I was going wrong. And, chart out a career for me, not making me lost in the process of so many things that happens to women in life. Like we go through puberty, then the marriage, then your child delivery, then your family tamasha, everything happens. I didn't have a route to come out of it, but what I learned is that I did it beautifully. Like I didn't accept things which I was not okay with, which was one of the biggest learning I was following. And even till now, I follow the same. If I don't like something and if my heart doesn't agree, it's not what I'm going to do then. It's 100% no for that. So that's the most beautiful thing I learned. And I also learned that I should have sought help at a very early stage from many people. I stuck by few people, trusting in them a lot, putting all my energies into them, but never validated that whether it was good for me or bad for me. That's something I learned. But in fact, that learning has given me a good understanding about my daughter. Like I'm charting out a career. It makes me feel, though I might have lost a little track, but when I'm seeing her, I see more happiness and more, and I don't see her as a daughter. I see her as a woman who's out there to see what she wants to do. Like it's written in the book, she's a commercial pilot waiting for her license. So I told her, just why are you waiting? Let's do something interesting. So we did a photo shoot for her, and within a week she got a lead actress in the movie.
Oh wow.
And she's shooting from September. I mean, that's a great chart, right? Like for a mother who thinks linear and suddenly you're going the other way, where creativity is important, acting is important and stuff like that. And she was paid 1 year's salary if she would have been pilot upfront in the movie career. So it's money, boss, let's make it.
Wow.
So that was the other learning I had, that don't wait for the opportunity to come to you. Please go walk for the opportunity and grab it.
Grab it. Wow. Uh, what interesting learnings, right? So you talked about, the first thing that you talked about was finding a mentor.
Yeah.
At what point in time in your life did you find that mentor, and what made you look for a mentor?
So it was 2019 and COVID hit us hard, and my daughter had left for her, like never done in our families. बोलते ना सात पुरखों में कभी नहीं हुआ था.
हाँ.
That someone is going out of country for studying, and that to a pilot and a daughter and a single mother with double duties handling it. So the day she left, it was February 26th. I still remember the day. And on the 1st of March, I got my salary. I transferred the entire salary. I removed my PF. Everything was like zero balance. And I said, agle mahine ki salary aa jayegi. I'll take a little advance and things will work out. And here comes COVID. You didn't know what to do, how to take it forward. And 2-3 months down the lane, cinemas was the first to shut, last to open. We were going through pay cuts, and I didn't know how to, kind of gap, because when you're a single parent, you always want your child to get the best. And for me, it was very clear that Pratna will not be funded by a bank, but I have to fund her completely so that she's loan free. And 6 months, 7 months, 8 months, you're without work, when you're completely being around work and buzzing, like a busy bee. That kind of gave me a depression. And I put on like 30-40 kilos of weight because I was eating and eating and eating and eating and nothing else, because the depression was so much. And then one night I decided that, I'm going to end my life tomorrow. I don't see anything. Nothing is going to work out. And my children are going to feel helpless. And I don't know how to start. And then usually I have this practice of talking to my inner master, which is a very strong process I follow. It's like basically the gut feeling is nothing but your ancestors living in your stomach, their cells. So, and when I was talking to my inner master, like, why don't we document a journey and see? And suddenly I get a message from the Isha Foundation. I follow Sadhguru a lot, and this is a senior group, that one of this mentor had, kind of helped few people, and they've come up strong. And immediately, I don't know what happened, within 3 to 4 minutes, my tears rolled down. I was like all in thing that, will someone help me? And so I called Gagan Adlaka, he's from Delhi. And I explained him what happened with me in the last 6 months and how can I think. And I had to open up every bit of my life. And it was so easy to open up to him, Souniya, because a mentor gives you that comfort and the acknowledgement that you're a valuable person. So in first he was resistant, saying that, I don't have time and all that. I said, please look into me, because nobody has been there with me for the journey. So he agreed. And that's the first time I had a mentor in my life. And within 6 months, I was a very, very different person.
Yeah. And 2019 is when you mentioned all of this happened. 2019, 2020, that was the time when, while COVID was at its peak, of course, cinemas, because you've been with PVR as a business, cinemas were the most hit. And to find an anchoring in a mentor at that point in time is amazing. Tell me this. You reached out and thus this happened. But for a lot of women professionals, what is the way, or what are some ways that you would suggest that we can go about finding the right mentor?
If I say step 1, first of all, invest on yourself. Because what we women, this is mostly with women, because men, they gossip over a cigarette, they talk out the issues. And specifically when I come from South, we don't even have this culture of standing in groups as women and talking, right? We don't talk. The step 1 would be, always reflect on a mirror of self. Who is the best reflection of you is you. Am I better than the last year? Yes. If I am, good. But do I want to go to the next level? So my first step would be, you plan your career. Are you willing to be the same person, running the same dream, playing the same game for 5 years? There are women, sorted. But if you're saying, no, I want to deliver the best, I want to get the best, and I want to be the best, there are so many digital masters now. There's a universe of mentorship, because as Indians, the first thing we like is to be known or speak to someone or have a listening ear. So find online. There is something I'm running also. I'll start from September. It's called the Shiro Mindset. I'm training women on mental gym. Physical gym, all of you go, but mental gym is something we really need now. So you can reach out. I can refer you to all levels of mentorship. There's career guidance, there's marriage guidance, there's children guidance, there's career break guidance. So there's a lot of layers of niches now. So one can find out online. And yeah, I think these 3 steps are so easy to kind of crack. And then reflect every 6 months. You know, this is one thing I'm doing now. Like every 6 months, I reflect, what is that will change my life? Or what is that will make me better in my company? Or in the market where people will start noticing it. Like the first step I took was publishing my book. Earlier I was Meena Chabbria, AVP PVR. But now it starts saying the author of Unstoppable, founder of Unstoppable, then PVR. So I'm an asset to PVR now rather than being a liability saying she's an employee. That's in your hand. You need to work on that skill.
Building your own brand is what you're talking about.
Building your own brand, yeah.
The way you have built your own brand, a lot of women in the C-suite have built it, but women who are still in the middle management, while trying to manage the dynamics of living life at their personal front, managing families and managing work, I think a lot of times we end up not building our own brand. If you were to suggest ways that while you authored a book, but not everybody might be able to author a book, what are some ways that anybody, whether in the middle management or whether you are just starting out your career, what are some ways that, irrespective of your gender, you can start building your own brand if you were to give 3 quick tips?
First of all, opinionate and write online or in any forum, social media or any forum. Like you write what you feel, because sometimes when you write, you echo what you're thinking. Second, plan ahead. Third, seek help. Whether it's a woman or men, we have this habit of cooking, going to work, then coming back and cooking, and then, seeing that time. I've invested all my time in recruiting the right people at home also.
Yeah.
And I tell this to myself every day. Okay, she's a cook, but she's also mother to someone, so it's okay. I'm not so fuzzy about things, because if you want to achieve a status in your career, then there is some kind of compromise you'll have to do. And these are small things, but great things to look into and very simplistic.
So when you said plan ahead, if you could just double tap, how do you plan ahead? So
I plan ahead in a way that I have a clear meeting agenda, clear plan for the next week. In fact, for the next 60 days, you'll see my calendar up. And I will know what I have to do, where I have to be, what kind of appearance, what kind of dressing, what kind of style I have to follow, what kind of conversation I have to have. These are very important things, not because whether you're in C-suite or A suite or B suite, you are an employee, and only if you plan ahead for yourself will you be able to guide someone else. So I clearly have this 20 hours a week to study. I don't do anything else other than reading for the 20 hours.
20 hours a week?
Yeah, I do books, I do online reading and nothing else that time. So it's plan ahead and see how you can invest time, A, for the company or for yourself. Yeah. And then B is plan for your personal time on growth. Only if you keep investing is when you'll get the best of it.
Yeah. You talked about investing onto yourself, and what I also know is that there was a time you've done programs from MICA, from IIM, from UCLA, from ISB. So that's a lot of investment on your personal growth and learning. What kickstarted this learning process for you?
So frankly, the fear of what will happen if PVR doesn't open.
Oh.
So I was like, okay, I'm a pro in advertising. Let me learn MICA and the formulas. If digital marketing, then ISB is good. Then IIM, because these generation IIM is like the thing. So
Snob value.
I was like, let me not be out of market. And then, of course, because my daughter was in New Zealand, I thought if I get a degree from UCLA, at least someone will consider me there for a job opportunity, which I got. But then she decided to come to India and we kind of flopped it. So that was the only driving point. Second, I think it adds values to your conversation. these education, when I started educating myself, I thought it'll be, I'll come back and I'll kill the people around PVR team, and I'll be going and telling the CEO that I want to be the next CEO. What do you think? And all that was in my mind. But when I started becoming more humble, more humbler, because you see 50 other people there educating themselves with you, your batchmates, colleagues, and they're the best at trade. That kind of humbles you and simplifies you. And that's when I started investing. And one point which I want to add up to this is, as women, we are super happy to invest on our designer footwear, dresses, your chains, your whatever you call ornaments, and keep it as a asset. But you're never investing in the most important asset, which is you. What can better of anything if you invest on yourself and look a little more sharper and better?
Yeah, absolutely. I think your presence in any space and how you present yourself really matters.
Yeah.
We don't realize that often enough, but the sharpness,
Yeah.
the way you connect, everything adds up without you knowing that it adds up.
Yeah.
Very beautifully put across, and I think that also inspires me to start looking at more programs and courses. Though there's never enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think personal investment investing in personal growth is very important. You've been with PVR for a very long time now, and especially the part where you are looking at brand alliances. What has been your learning? And in terms of brand alliances, it's also a lot about selling. It's all about selling the concept, the ideas that you want to present to the brands. So coming from a person who's significantly contributed to the revenues and sales, what are some ways that you feel that entrepreneurs and women who are in sales roles can learn from your journey?
Okay, the most important is how to do presentations. I think I'm a pro at it, and I would love to share some tips on presentations. That don't make a classic PPT and just go and dump it. Please add some personal touch to it. Like all my presentations will have one slider about the other person whom you're talking to. Do a basic research, because you're meeting a person. If he's investing time on you, you need to invest time. The hat I wear when I go to any brand, and this is the most beautiful part of my brand alliance journey, is when I go and meet them for the first time, it's PVR. The second meeting will be, I will be on their side and PVR will be a journey for us. So I'll tell them that don't do this, it won't work out. Let's try this, this will work out. So experience speaks. So use your experience not to sell your brand, but to make other person invest on your brand. That gives you a larger volume of deal. The third tip I'll always say is value the money of the other person, because his trial will be once or twice with you, not more than that. But your time and investment on the trial should not be costing expensive deals for both of you. So if you value each and every rupee of theirs, and if you get that comfort between the brand and both the brands, I think you'll win at sales. And as women, we have the natural tendency of being careful about spending money for others, like not for self, but for others, we're a little careful. I think we should take that learning from there and be a little more tight on their budgets and see if you can get more value. And this one point I'll tell you. So when I delivered my first workshop, I kept a price point of 999. So we had 26 women. All of them came back saying you should have at least charged 50,000 rupees for this.
Wow.
When people see value in you, they want to reinvest on you. And that value is something you can create for yourself, no one else can.
The experience that you shared of your first workshop is one thing that I would want a little more insight on. That when you said that women who participated in the workshop said that you should have valued that workshop at 50,000 and not 999. Do you see this as a pattern in many women that we undersell ourselves?
Yes, we do. But the strategic plan of having this class was a trial. And I wanted to see how the trial works, though I made a very good number of it. But I still feel it's important when you're new to the trade to be a little realistic. And I wanted to put all that I had in my kitty. But coming back to the point of being an employee, yes, we undersell ourselves and we never have the guts to go and tell someone, ki boss, I've done 200 crore ka revenue. Please give me a 10% hike more than anyone else. We women can't do this. I have never done this till now. Like, I'm a classic example of not talking about numbers to my bosses, but talking about sales numbers to my bosses every day.
But do you think this can change, and how can this change?
This can change for sure. Like when you modulate your career, like right now, if you tell me 5 years from now, where will you be? I know at what number, how much I'll be earning, and what kind of work I need to put up with my bosses and how to put up. And this is the basic requirement I need to have. So it can change if you have a vision to be a part of your own game plan and see where you want to hike and why you want to hike. And when you up the game, like you study, you educate yourself, and then you invest on training and personal grooming, you're socially fit, you have a point of view, then you're all in it, right? You can go and talk.
Yeah. And then you can ask for what you feel you best deserve.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like it's important, and it's okay. It could be a yes or a no, but then you'll understand that are you here or not. So I can give you a small example if I'm allowed to. So there's this woman I was coaching, and it's a one-to-one coaching, and she's not paid salary for 6 months. And she's not quitting because she feels that if she doesn't have a job, then what? I said, it's actually equally that you don't have a job. And when I suggested her to mail the owner of the company, the MD of the company, he said, as woman, what expense do you have? Hello, she's running a full-fledged house. And then when she wrote back to him with some pointers that it's professionalism and all that, and then he paid her. But till then, 6 months, she's been quiet, and she's been hearing that as women, what expense do you have? I think as women, we have double expense than men. Right? We need to look good. We need to groom ourselves well. So, yeah.
So when it comes to you coaching women, especially as a part of your program, what are some things that you see are recurring as a theme, as a challenge that most women in the workforce face? One, for instance, was not being able to ask for what you deserve. What else comes up mostly?
Balancing family time. Like, for example, it's the most beautiful example I give, but something which I can resonate with every day. Like, the mother-in-law is not well, and she has a board meeting or an important client meeting, she has to cancel it. If she is not well, she has to take care of herself. If her children are not well, she has to take care of herself. But just flip the coin and ask your husband, if your mother is not well, will he do this for you? Tum dekh lena ma. Like, we women are treated as support system for any person more than our career. We kind of support. That's one recurring habit. Second, when they live in joint family, they have no voice to say if they don't have issues, like kids. If they don't have kids, then it's a torturous life for women in corporate, because they start hearing this more ki tum to kaam pe chali jati ho, you don't have time for the family, you don't have time for the husband, and that's why you're not able to conceive. And the process of then going through the entire treatment is very tough for the woman, and this is the second most important point. The third important point is not being able to listen to the woman, and this is something I do not appreciate as a woman leader also. Like, be woman or anyone, when I give you a chance to speak, which means I'm listening. When I get a chance to speak, which means you have to listen. And in many of the corporate worlds, they don't do. They feel that we over talk, but we talk subtly and take time to put our point across. And these are three recurring points which are.
And how do you best suggest that women can deal with these patterns that you continue to see emerging as a challenge?
See, as you know, these are important calls. Like, when it's important for a man to be at work, it's important for a woman to be at work. As simple as it is. It's no way that you think you're a woman and you need to give this when nobody forces you. So that's your problem, not theirs. So you need to work out on, again, seeking help, practically managing things at home. And today, a doctor or a nurse is on call, It's not that you have to take her to the hospital, same doctor, same. that pattern has to be broken, and you have to let them live independently. Also, the family also. On the second point of not having kids, it's very personal. Like, it's between a man and a woman and not the family.
Yeah.
If he's seen you and got married to you with the baggage of you saying, I want to be a career oriented woman, then you need to plan out and take time for yourself and for the family, and see how it scales up for both of you. And I think in this, when I see girls, crying or I am and stuff, I feel very disheartened, saying they're so educated, right? So that's the second thing. And on the last point, I think it's up to you how you're going to carry forward and say certain things, and say a no or a yes, and space your gap in the corporate world, saying, will you please listen to me in a subtle way? I'm not okay with you not listening to me. And I think this, if we strongly put across to anyone at workforce, it's a good way to kind of connect with people. And in my office at the Unstoppable thing, we have a listening booth.
Listening booth.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Okay.
Tell
Yeah.
me
So
more.
we have a listening booth where anyone who wants to speak during the meeting, the representative have to go to the listening booth, and all of us will only listen until she completes.
Interesting.
It's psychologically so important, Souniya, that people let them speak their heart out. And they're allowed to speak anything. They had a bad journey, good journey, positive energy, negative, and anything. But the booth will be there, and if someone says that I want to go to the booth, we let them talk for good 45 minutes, 1 hour, and we're just listening. It's such a beautiful therapy that you listen to someone. So yeah, I think workforces should start something where, if someone wants to really speak out and really put up their point, should have this booth where they can sit and talk to people and others listen to them.
Beautiful. And you yourself have had a journey in a very male-dominated industry.
Yeah.
What are some things that you navigated through as a woman in this industry where you saw a lot of men, and especially men in leadership? What are some ways that you navigated yourself through and become a leader?
Yeah. So initially never used to notice.
Yeah.
So I used to work, I don't know, name the company, and people used to think I'm a Tamilian coming from South India. And I didn't know what styling and fashion is. If you see my first photograph, you'll just get a shock how I was looking. And I used to put this coconut oil, virgin coconut oil in my hair all the time.
Okay.
And whenever I come to the office meeting, they'll keep a napkin on the face and, kind of say that some smell is coming. And I innocently took up the napkin for myself. And one of them came and said, it's because of your hair smell. So I was actually understanding that there are things for me also in the world. And especially when men come and tell you that you don't smell good, it's the oil smell or something. So that's still a little lighter. So I used the hiring of me, because I'm the only South sales head for a media company. Like, there are not many sales head. So, which means I have to hire the best or fire the best. And these men have to work under me. So 99% when I hire men leaders, they don't like reporting to me. Very tough for me to kind of tell them that.
Even now?
Even now. Even the last hire I'm saying, then I will sit there and tell them, okay, let's do one thing. This is the list of clients. Let's go. You pick any client for me. Let me go to the trade. And I'll pick one best client for you. Let's go to the trade. Whoever gets the deal closure is the best person. Like, on an Excel, how does someone else read it's a men worked Excel or a woman worked Excel?
Yeah.
It doesn't, right? So I kind of cracked those formulas right, saying I'll challenge them by work and not by my point of view. So I challenge them with the intelligence side of it. So that's the second. And the third is, of course, everybody has my wife's birthday, my husband's birthday. I'll be like, I'm lost in this world. What are they talking about?
Yeah.
It's a birthday, but I do understand work-life balance after UCLA. Yeah. So I kind of now changed myself for others, which was not earlier. Now I feel that it should be 4 days working and people should spend quality time within themselves.
Yeah. And I remember having, while the team did a little research, I think they also found out that one thing during the COVID times you were pretty vocal about was the work from home versus the work from office dynamics, and how working from office is much better as compared to home.
Yeah, because the only thing which you cannot buy is human intelligence. Like, I love talking to you because you're intelligent, right?
Yeah.
You're talking to me certain questions, or you're asking me certain questions. I'm replying to you certain questions because we're seeing each other on phone mail, Zoom mail, someone else is there. What is happening? Nobody knows. But this vibe of you and me being together is a calming factor to someone's life. And especially at work, these are few things which are very important for me, and I love to learn and understand from the human intelligence more. It's called the old school thought, but so it be, and I love that being that.
Yeah, I really resonate to that point. And I definitely saw that change even when we went from being working from home and remote working to coming to back to office. I think we could see that change and the dynamics between the team members changing.
Yeah.
So that really, the human intelligence, the emotional quotient, I think really matters.
Yeah.
Coming to your journey of kickstarting Unstoppable, and you being unstoppable yourself, and now being on a mission to raise 1 million women and make them unstoppable, what's the most exciting part of this journey for you?
The most exciting part of this journey is letting myself go of what I was, which in a way means, when you're in corporate, you're political, you want to find your seat safe, you don't want to kind of rub off your bosses, you don't want to do a lot of things, right? But in coaching, it's a space of authenticity and purity. There's someone who's seeking some answer for the question which nobody was giving, and that's the most important aspect of someone's life, shaping someone's life, I could say. So that's the most beautiful experience. I'm being outrageous, like no way I was ever this outrageous. uh, I would not bother about what people think about me anymore. I would be giving the person the right opinion, the right structure, the right advice. If I may seek something from them, or if they may seek something, I would be wearing their hat. And through experience of this 22 years of my corporate journey, I know what are the loopholes and where it falls short, and how the career graph is going to go where, and how to come out of a certain situation. We talk to friends, but we don't talk to coach, or we don't. The current system is we don't have many coaches appointed one to one. So even if it's an office gossip, someone has told you something, you'll listen and you'll go and tell to the next person, Sonia, that this is happening. But you'll never understand the depth of that problem which is there, or the question which you've heard or something. So that understanding is quite a pattern. And the framework itself is very interesting. So I formed a formula of 5 modules for Shiro mindset. So it's about finding your strength, then working towards the strength, then seeing whether you're on the right track. If you're not, then what is the alternative track, and how much time you should invest on what kind of work, like a proper plan schedule where you don't feel worked up. And then the 4th step is something where you need to, it's called the brave heart. In fact, it's the first time I'm speaking. It's called the brave heart, where woman needs to be bold, where we should have resilience, where we should have attitude, where we should have victorious mindset, where we should have ethical thinking. It's a complete formula.
Oh, wow.
And the last is where I'm specialized in, which is the network like a pro. As women, it's very important to have business networking. So it's called the strong ties and the weak ties. So what is a strong tie? Like, I know someone and we both speak and we get connected. It's a strong tie. It's a inner circle. But how do I get connected to someone on a social media so over powerful, or is powerful, or I want to talk to Indrani Nui? You're just saying examples. How to convert them to your stronger ties and have more stronger zone from the weaker ties. And wherever you go, before you go, people have an icebreaker of who Sonia or who Meena is. That's the last format. And in between that, we're also letting a lot of women talk about what kind of careers they want to do. So one of those interesting women came to me and saying, why can't I be in the graveyard? Why only can a man, like in Hindu religion, we don't have anyone who's in the graveyard doing all this work, right? Still thinkable, right? And then I had to really navigate the answer. Christianity it's allowed, Islam it's not. So there are few things we're working on career sites on why and why nots also. So it's bringing in very interesting superhero therapy. So it's called the Shiro, S as in superwoman and hero as the concept.
Interesting. And I loved the brave acronym that you've
Yeah.
created.
Yeah.
As also on the part about becoming a pro at networking,
Yeah.
especially business networking. You talked about strong ties and weak ties, Meena. I would love for you to share a little more on how women in the C suite or women who are looking to create their path to the C suite or women who are looking at becoming entrepreneurs or are aspiring entrepreneurs, how can they start, where can they start networking better? We all attend a lot of events, we exchange cards, but then what do you do to constantly nurture that network?
Okay, so here are the simple tips, and it comes through my own personal experience. If you are into media, and if you don't have a strong media network, and if people don't know you in media, then it's as much as half game cooked, right? It's half game you're playing. So whatever industry you're choosing, and an alternative industry is what I suggest my trainees or the learners now. Always have a backup plan. Like for me, my plan A is PBR, but my plan B is unstoppable. It works well for me. So both the industries, I connect with all the people who are peers in the industry, and there's nothing that stops you to connect with them. Exchange your number, speak to them. Like I write a lot of times to people whom I don't know randomly, saying, "Can I have your number? I would just like to talk to you and introduce myself." And trust me, nobody says no for an introduction. And then next time you're in Bombay or you're in Delhi or you're in Bangalore, just a cup of coffee works well. So networking is good. And second is sharing industry knowledge. Like, did you know? How do you did you know this happened in PBR last week? I just top it up on LinkedIn. I have a strong LinkedIn following. I have about 32,000 people in the LinkedIn forum. So I connect with them a lot professionally also. And anything that has changed my life. So this is one is professional, one is learning side, and one is personal. For example, my daughter was a pilot. I told the entire world I know that my daughter is a pilot. And it's so good to share to your professional networking, because that's a scale in your life you achieved. So these 3 points can help them understand you as a person, as a professional, and as someone who wants to do something for herself, and nothing wrong. So these are the 3 things I follow.
Interesting. And I love the part where you talked about the personal journeys, sharing that, because a lot of times we become very hesitant thinking that, theek hai, this is an achievement that my son has had, or somebody in my family has had, but why should I share it? How does it matter to the world?
Yeah.
It only makes you more authentic, because you share a part of you which is very vulnerable, which is very focused on just yourself. People get to know you better. And that's a very beautiful part of human to human connectivity. So that's been some very beautiful insights. And I can't wait to get through Unstoppable. And I'm very glad that you brought this to me. I am keen to know that as a CXO yourself, as a leader yourself, what are some things that keep you grounded, that keep you sane? Are there rituals that you have throughout your day and through your weeks that you follow that keep you centered amidst all the chaos and madness that work and building Unstoppable brings to you?
Yeah, so beautiful question. In fact, this is one of the never asked questions to me, that how are you keeping yourself grounded? So, this is something that came to me very early in life. You earn 100 crore as a salary package or 200 crore. You can't eat gold. 1 gram gold, we can't take it to our stomach, because God has designed us in a certain way. And there are certain things that goes in you, right? So I keep myself saying, bas itna hi anaj ka hi game hai, so let's not overdo things which will hurt someone and, make some damage to another human. So that way I know that at the age of 44, that there are things which I will do for my life and my happiness, and that's why Unstoppable came in. The second thing I keep myself grounded is by working for my mother. Because for her, it doesn't matter whatever I do. For her, it's like Indrani Nui says, she told me when she got the Pepsi, her mother
Yeah.
said, for me, my mother, you tell her, Rajnikant sir signed. Okay.
So what?
So what? You're my daughter. I know you'll do good for yourself. So, and whatever happens, every weekend she ensures that I go with her to the local market and buy vegetables and carry. Where I will do my work with my driver, my help and all, but she will make sure that I go with her.
Yeah.
The third thing is very true to myself. I don't want to lie about it. In my entire life, my entire relatives wouldn't have thought, or people who knew me would have thought, कि a school helper will become the head of PVR South and will also have an impact on the society. Will become a coach. So that keeps me grounded. कि मिल गया is a sign that universe has blessed you. Don't overdo this, so that people think you're arrogant, you're stuff. So that keeps me grounded all the time. The fourth practice is there are two more practices. Not many times I've opened up about it, but very personal to me. The fourth is I've actually adopted 2 homeless women who were on the streets, and they live with us, and they share the bedroom with my children. So that keeps me more understanding about life, though it's a very, very big call I took. But I took a call because some woman out there wanted my help at very young age. I didn't do this now. It's done 12 years back. They're living with us for 12 years now. So when I look at them, I always feel that it's time that I've given back to the society and they're living with me. That's good. The last one is Devi's presence. So I have Isha's Linga Bhairavi. Though it's spiritual, it's not religious. I believe it's spiritualism. I spend 1 hour with her every day to download, and I have this whole strength coming at home, because I feel that if there's a mother at home, then the child can be always safe, and that's how I feel safe all the time. So these are the 5 things I follow.
Beautiful. And I think I'm in awe of how you are giving back and really impacting lives. Interestingly, a lot of CXOs that I've spoken to on CXO Talks, most of them have had some form of grounding in meditation, in some kind of practice that centers them, whether it is yoga, whether it is meditation, whether it is dhyana, whether it is in your case, how you mentioned your practice, and the closer you are to your spirit, I think, the better you are as a leader. So thank you for sharing these 6 practices that you continue to follow as a part of your ritual. Now we are at a part where we ask you the question that the last CXO left for the next CXO. And the last CXO that we had was Kalpana Saroj, Kalpana Auntie as I call her. And she's a Padma Shri. She's somebody who's done phenomenal work and impacted many lives. And her journey, I think, is remarkable in itself, because she started out in 70s. But the question that she has is that as somebody who is managing family and work, how willing are you to continue creating and striking that balance, and how do you do that?
Thank you so much, Kalpana ma'am. The question is beautiful. I am all in the game, not because, it's going to be family or managing stuff, because I am important. And that importance for me will stay through my life. And I'm not going to leave it just like that. And I'm sure that, continuously working on your mission, and just because I have a gold card and I have a strong vision board, I'll continue to do that till the last breath of my life. And I would say that I will walk to the graveyard and say, hey, I'm ready. So that's how I'm committed to be what I am, or committed to be what I should be to the work and to the world.
Yeah, beautiful. And now it's your turn, Meena, to leave a question to our next CXO who comes on CXO Talks.
Okay. So my question is, when will you want to retire, and why would you want to retire? Because recently I've been reading a lot about Japanese and Chinese people having no retirement. So is it time for us to consider no retirement? And if no, then how? And if Yes, and why?
Interesting. Every question that every CXO leaves also makes me wonder and reflect. So I'm also in that moment where I'm like reflecting, do I want to retire? Do I not want to retire? But that's a beautiful, very powerful question. And thank you for sharing that. It's been a phenomenal conversation, Meena, to get to know your journey. And I think that the program that launches in September,
Yeah.
I would love for our audience to know a little more about that and how can they participate. I will definitely share a link if there is any,
It is.
which they can get access to and subscribe to and get to know about how to get coached and how to be a part of the program. Please
Sure.
tell me more.
So it's going to be online, and there are 4 modules for it. The beginning module is that you attend a class and then go to the module 1, 2, 3, 4. It's a year-long journey because it's not just professional changes; it's changes within and even within you. So you'll have to give me 1 year time to work on your goal, your vision, yourself, and your company, and of course your workforce, and then convert into it. It's called the Unstoppable Angels. We are on website, and you'll see all our ads starting from September 1. And any and every woman out there who finds that she's in a position which is she doesn't know whether it's 99% to jump forward or 1% to go, back and reflect, come back and reflect with me. I promise you not a 2.0 version of yourself, but I promise you your design, what you were thinking initially, to deliver the best version of you. So my promise to you is not to overdo it, but achieve whatever you initially planned.
Amazing. And we will be sharing this link in the description for every listener to get access to and be able to subscribe to the program. Thank you so much for being here
Thank
today.
you.
It was a
Thank
very
you.
powerful and a very insightful conversation from your journey, Meena. Thank you for being on CXO Talks.